Reviving the Vedic Culture of Yajna by Dr. Pranav Pandya, disciple of Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharyaji. Audio 6. Increased negative ions and health benefits of Yajna. It is observed that the places where Yajna is performed every day provide excellent support in improvement of health. Why and how it happens? Scientific investigations have revealed that elevated levels of negative ions enhance such possibilities. We live in a gigantic ocean of air around. Breathing oxygen alone is not sufficient for us. We need negatively charged respirable particles too. Inspiration of positive ions in the air is not supposed to be good for health. It causes some kind of suffocation and sickness, as often found in the crowded spots of polluted cities and industrial areas. Despite undergoing same treatment, the patients get cured at a slower pace in the hospitals and sanitariums surrounded by positive ions in the air as compared to those in other medical centers. Air enriched by negative ions is proved to be exceptionally good for mental and physical, meaning bodily health. Such effects are found in the breezy atmosphere on the hills, in the green villages, on cool sea, beaches and near natural waterfalls. This is why people are advised to go to such places for health benefits and for refreshing the body and mind. In view of these scientific revelations, ionic therapy is gaining momentum in developed countries. However, in its present form, it is too expensive and is being tried on at small scales for few individuals and families. For wider impact, the modes of such therapies should also be such that they could be easily applied in larger areas at low cost. By their in-depth research and acumen in the subtle science of nature, our rishis had discovered such a universal therapy in the form of Agni Yajnas. The Agni Yajnas were largely regarded as religious rituals until recently. However, ever since the scientific investigations on ancient Indian sciences and Vedic culture have advanced in a systematic though limited manner, newer facets of super scientific potentials hidden in it are being unfolded. Of noted concern in the present context is the increase of negative ions in the surrounding atmosphere after Agni Yajna. Dense clustering of negative ions is natural around the places where Agni Yajnas are performed every day. It is found to be of the order of 200 to 400 negative ions per cubic centimeter at such places on the average, which is comparable with that in green belts of forest and cool and green sea beaches. Yajna-based therapy for holistic health. Yajna, meaning Agni Yajna, is not only an excellent process of environmental purification, but it could also be used as a powerful remedy against varieties of physical, meaning bodily, and psychiatric diseases and psychosomatic disorders by proper selection of wood and havan samagri. Appropriate selection of mantras and mode and timings of yajna, etc. promise outstanding applications for total health. Gurudev Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya, the spiritual scientist and rishi of our times, had pioneered reinvestigating this lost science in the modern laboratories. He had named this yajna-based universal therapy for total health as Yajnopathy and established specialized laboratories at Brahma Varchas Research Center of Shantikunj, Haridwar for this far-sighted purpose. He also inspired and engaged medical doctors and talents from different disciplines of biological, physiochemical, and psychological sciences in this path-breaking research. Let us broadly look at the fundamental principles and scientific bases which make the research on Yajnopathy so appealing and promising. The potency of subtilization and sublimation. The herbal medicines in Yajnopathy work on the principle of magnified potency by subtilization and sublimation. It is a well-known fact the oral medicines consumed in gross form, example tablets or syrup, have lesser effect as compared to those infused in the bloodstream directly by injections. If inhaled through breath and the skin pores in vaporized or gaseous form, the same medicine would have many old positive effects. Subtilization and sublimation increase their potency exponentially. It's a simple fact known to most of us that subtilization increases the potency of material substances. For example, soaked and abraded almond has greater effect as tonic than the solid one. Its semi-liquid form obtained by scrubbing is even more effective than the paste prepared by grinding. Half-chewed, somehow gulped morsel of bread would not give that benefit as the properly chewed one. If one is forced to eat even a tiny piece of gold or silver coin, it would create serious problems for him. However, the same metal, when powdered, processed into fire and converted into a bhasma, meaning medicinal ash, would become a part of a medicine or tonic. The plant and herbal medicines of Ayurveda work on the aforesaid principle that finer grinding, patting, pounding, and stirring result in greater extraction and concentration of the healing effects. Similar is the case of the homeopathy drugs. Here the potency of the drugs is increased by subtilization. Allopathic treatments by intravenous injections also work faster and more effectively as compared to giving the same medicines orally in grosser forms. In case of yajna-based therapy, the coarse Havan Samagri sacrificed in the Yajna-Agni is subtilized, sublimated and transformed into gaseous or vapor form. How its potency and healing effects magnify in this process could be understood by the familiar case of red chili. When a red chili is kept in its solid one-piece form, no one would experience or notice its existence. It might irritate and cause burning sensation in the hands of the one who grinds it. But if the same tiny piece is ignited in fire, we would find everyone around coughing, sneezing, and pouring tears. The irritation in throat, nose, breathing pipe, and burning in the eyes would be unbearable in the large surrounding area wherever its smoke is spread. The scientific process of yajna makes maximum use of the marvelous effect of subtilization and sublimation in the carefully designed for controlled gradual temperature variation yajna kunds. When one takes a Oral medicine, example a tablet, it first reaches the stomach from where only a fraction of it goes to the blood after metabolism. The rest gets drained out with urine and feces. Thus, the effect of the drug materializes only partly. This is further reduced if the patient's digestive system is weak. The same drug, if infused directly into the bloodstream by intravenous injection, certainly shows rapid and better effect. However, here too its significant effect could be lessened by the deficiencies of specific chemicals, for instance, in the blood, problems of blood flow, etc. The risks of counter reactions are more in this case as the entire dose reaches the blood almost instantaneously. Moreover, it is not certain whether the drug reaches the subtle components of the body in the desired form. The healing offered by yajna is free from all such limitations. The sublimated drug, meaning healing substances, reaches each and every component of the body through the skin pore and breathing. Respiratory system is most efficient and prominent among all the inlets for energy and healthy substances and outlets for waste and harmful substances of the body. We intake water and food through the mouth and expel the rejected and rotten portions through the urinary tube and rectum and through perspiration. The most important source of our survival is given to us by our respiratory system. We all know the necessity of oxygen, which is inhaled by us through breathing. We might sustain our life for several days without food, could even continue to breathe without water for few days, but can't prolong it beyond few minutes in the absence of oxygen. The non-stop work done by the respiratory system alone in carrying the vital energy source to every particle of the body is more crucial and heavier than that of the digestive system and accessory components and organs in maintaining the living body. The respiratory system and the galaxy of skin pores play the key role in enabling the absorption of the prana, the energy, and the healing currents, including the herbal drug effects of yajna in the blood, organs, and the cellular, molecular, and subtler units of our body. Free from the negative effects of allopathy. The quick treat magic of the allopathic medicines largely works on 1. Stimulation of the nervous system or specific reactions in the body, and 2. Antibiotic effects of direct killing of the infection or invader. The instant relief or rapid cure offered by these mechanisms is counterproductive in reality. The sudden energy or stimulation imposed by these drugs is elusive. These appear like blessings initially, but prove to the contrary in the long run. This synthetic treatment by allopathic drugs is like sending the weak and sick soldiers on the battlefront after boozing. They make an intrepid show in that excitation and attempt overspending their already meek stock of stamina and energy. Their worsened state becomes visible soon after the effect of intoxication is waned. This is what happens to the fast improvement in one's health by the so-called energy boosters and tonics. The antibiotics are often referred as the curse of allopathy. These may provide excellent relief from disease initially, but soon become ineffective on the same ailment. Further, their side effects are more painful than the disease. Often the after effects of their prolonged use make it clear that the antibiotics work like a slow poisons and offer cure at the cost of natural vitality. The toxicity of these drugs is supposed to be killing the germs or infections, but they do not distinguish between friends and foes and destroy the life-saving agents too by their sharp and instant reactions. Thus, despite the eradication of the bacteria and viruses of one disease, the immune system, vitality, and resistance of the patient cured by the antibiotics become so infirm that he bears greater risk of that attack of other diseases. Despite knowing their negative effects, we have to take support of the allopathic treatment in want of the other easily accessible and scientifically acclaimed modes. The yajna-based process of medicinal treatment as devised by the rishis of yore provides an excellent alternative in this context. It offers dual effects of destroying the germs and viruses and at the same time elevating the vitality and resistance of the body without any risk of side effects and without cost constraints. Adept processing of yajna every day ensures health and vigor for the yajaks and annuls the possibilities of the latter suffering any disease or ailment. Because of its unique support to mental health and trenchantcy, yajnapathy is indeed a boon for total health.